Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. As much as Chris Combs is the keeper of his siblings, and as much as he looks out for them in 1,000-pound sister scenes, many fans have had enough. The way many viewers see it, Chris needs to take a step back and let his siblings like Tammy Slaton sink or swim. Recently, viewers got into some heated discussion over this issue and they did not hold back. 1,000 LB sisters, Chris Combs looks out for his family. With as chaotic as the Slaton family is, and with as many feuds as the siblings regularly get into, Chris Combs has become the designated voice of reason for his family members. Chris has lost the weight he had and managed to keep it off over the years. In addition to this, he is a source of strength for his family members to lean on when they need a leg up or a sympathetic ear. However, the way that many 1,000-pound sisters fans see it, Chris often crosses the line between helping and enabling, with him often ending up on the enabling side of the equation. TLC fans think Chris should back off. As much as Chris Combs has assumed the role of being a source of emotional support for his family, in some instances, like with Tammy Slaton, many 1,000-pound sisters fans feel he should take a step back and either let Tammy succeed on her own or fall on her own. One example that a lot of 1,000-pound sisters fans pointed to recently was the way that Chris and others sometimes still handle Tammy with kid gloves when it comes to things like her driving. The way fans see it, there is a fine line between helping someone and coddling them, and Chris doesn't always gauge that in the best way. 1,000 LB sisters fans say Tammy Slaton should sink or swim. Fans had a lot to say recently about everything that they see happening in Season 6 scenes of the popular TLC show, and many viewers pulled no punches when it came to Chris and his involvement with his siblings. One commenter said, "They all need healthy boundaries set. Chris deserves his time with family. I commend him as a brother and son. He is definitely one hell of a man. But he is married and besides God, it goes Brittany, his kids and grandchildren. Then others. I get when Tammy really needed the help back before, but she has came too far now that a lot of it she can and needs to do on her own." Another commenter said, "The woman needs to learn how to fucking drive already. I'd see how scared she is. It's bullsh. And she needs to stop making poor Chris drive her everywhere. She doesn't give two fucks about how she's inconveniencing him or anyone else who drives her around. She's so entitled sometimes. Poor guy can't have any life of his own if he's working full-time and taking care of his sister/mom. How he does it. Family, friction, and the Slaton spotlight. The 1,000-pound sisters universe is a whirlwind of emotions, opinions, and raw, unfiltered family moments. Fans have watched Tammy Slaton's journey for years, from the depths of her health struggles to the remarkable strides she's made recently. Alongside her, her siblings have played pivotal roles, sometimes acting as cheerleaders, sometimes as tough love enforcers. One of those siblings is Chris Combs, Tammy and Amy's brother, who has become a fan favorite in his own right. His humor, bluntness, and southern charm have made him a standout on the TLC show. But recently, a wave of fan chatter has begun to question whether Chris's approach toward Tammy is going too far. Some viewers, and even some close to Tammy, believe Chris needs to back off and give his sister the space she's earned. This isn't just about a brother being protective. It's about the delicate balance between supporting a loved one and unintentionally holding them back. This is the inside story of how the tension built, why it's coming to a head now, and what it might mean for the Slaton family's future. The Slaton sibling dynamic. From the very first season, the Slaton siblings' personalities clashed and complemented in equal measure. Tammy, the fiery and often defensive eldest, has always felt the need to assert her independence, even when her health made that nearly impossible. Amy, the more gentle but equally stubborn middle sister, often found herself caught between encouraging Tammy and not enabling her. And Chris? Well, Chris brought the tough love energy. From the moment he appeared on screen, Chris positioned himself as the no-nonsense older brother figure. Whether it was telling Tammy to get off her butt or calling out excuses, Chris made it clear he wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers if it meant pushing Tammy forward. At first, this approach resonated with fans. Many praised him for caring enough to speak the truth and for not letting Tammy's temper deter him. But as the seasons went on, a question began to simmer. At what point does tough love become too much? Tammy's transformation. To understand the current tension, you have to look at Tammy's transformation, both physical and emotional. For years, Tammy struggled with her weight, mobility, and health. Hospital visits became frequent and her reliance on others grew heavier. She faced online trolls, cruel memes, and strangers questioning whether she would even survive another year. But 2023 and 2024 brought a different story. After undergoing bariatric surgery, Tammy began shedding weight at a pace no one expected. The once bedbound woman was now walking short distances without oxygen. Her face was slimmer, her voice clearer, and her outlook cautiously brighter. With that transformation came a new sense of independence. Tammy started traveling more, posting confident selfies, and even opening up about her dating life again. Fans who had once feared for her life now cheered her on as an example of determination and resilience. But with that independence came friction with Chris. The back-off moment. The tension became impossible to ignore during a recent 1,000-Pound Sisters episode when Chris confronted Tammy over her new relationship. The scene started lighthearted, Chris, as usual, cracking jokes about Tammy's boyfriend. But it quickly took a more serious turn. "You're moving too fast," Chris told her, his voice low but firm. "You need to focus on yourself, not on some man who might not be here next month." Tammy bristled. "I am focusing on myself. Just because I'm seeing someone doesn't mean I'm forgetting everything I've worked for." The exchange escalated, with Chris warning Tammy about slipping back into old patterns and Tammy accusing Chris of treating her like a child. When the episode aired, social media lit up. "Chris needs to back off. Tammy's a grown woman. I love Chris, but he's overstepping here. Tammy's doing amazing. This isn't support, it's control." It was clear, a significant portion of the audience felt Chris's concern had crossed into interference. When support turns into control, family dynamics are tricky, especially when the family has endured public struggles. Chris has always been vocal about his fears for Tammy's health, and in many ways, those fears are valid. She nearly died more than once. He's seen her relapse into old habits. He knows how fragile recovery can be. But here's where things get complicated. When someone has fought to reclaim their independence, every piece of unsolicited advice can feel like a leash being tightened. Tammy's journey now isn't just about weight loss, it's about autonomy. And every time Chris steps in with a warning, even if it's well-meaning, it can come across as doubt. Doubt in her judgment. Doubt in her strength. Doubt that she can handle her own life. The fans' perspective. Fan discussions about Chris and Tammy have split into two camps. Camp 1. Chris is right to be cautious. Tammy's health journey is ongoing, and one wrong step could undo years of progress. They argue that Chris's persistence comes from a place of love and that his bluntness is exactly what keeps Tammy accountable. Camp 2. Chris needs to trust Tammy more. These fans point out that Tammy has exceeded everyone's expectations and that continued policing from her brother risks damaging their relationship. On Reddit, one user summed it up. "Chris helped save Tammy's life, but now it's time to let her live it." The divide reflects a larger conversation many families face. When does helping become holding someone back? Tammy's newfound voice. One of the most remarkable parts of Tammy's transformation is her confidence. She's no longer just surviving, she's speaking up for herself in ways she never did before. In a candid TikTok live, Tammy addressed some of the drama. Without naming Chris directly, she said, "I love my family, but I don't need babysitters anymore. I'm grown. I make my own choices, and if I make mistakes, they're mine to learn from." Fans flooded the comments with support. Some even shared personal stories about how, after making big life changes, they too struggled with loved ones over helping. For Tammy, this isn't rebellion, it's self-assertion. And that's something she's fought hard to earn. Chris's side of the story. Of course, Chris isn't the villain here. In interviews, he's expressed how deeply he cares for his sister's well-being. "She's my sister," he told a local Kentucky news outlet. "I've seen her at her worst. I don't ever want to go back there. If that means I gotta say things she don't like, I'll say 'em." From Chris's point of view, Tammy's history of near-death moments justifies his constant vigilance. The fear of losing her is a shadow that follows him, even in her happiest moments. The road ahead. As Tammy continues thriving, with or without Chris's constant commentary, the siblings will need to navigate new boundaries. For Chris, this may mean learning to express concern without overstepping. For Tammy, it may mean understanding that Chris's protectiveness comes from a place of love, not mistrust. One thing's certain, the Slaton family drama isn't going anywhere. The cameras will keep rolling, the fans will keep debating, and every conversation will be dissected in real time. But if Tammy's journey has taught us anything, it's this: growth doesn't just happen on the scale. It happens in relationships, boundaries, and the courage to say, even to your own brother, back off. Lessons for all of us. The Chris and Tammy dynamic resonates because it's universal. Many of us have been in Tammy's shoes, working hard to prove we can handle our own lives, or in Chris's shoes, desperate to protect someone we love from harm. The lesson is simple but not easy. Support means believing in someone enough to let them make their own choices, even if you don't always agree. And in Tammy's case, that belief might be the greatest gift Chris could give.